This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We got Ben Perkins from Perk Performance with us, Quentin Grimes trainer. We're gonna have a nice discussion about Quentin Grimes and his offseason regimen, what he's working on, so on and so forth. The show is brought to you by thegameday.com. Please make sure you go check out The Game Day for all of your up-to-date sports content and betting odds. There's a link in the description of the video. And of course, those draft tickets are available, ladies and gentlemen. Atlantic City, June 23rd. Make sure that you join us for the NBK draft party. Those tickets, the link is in the description of the video. There's also one pinned to your YouTube chat. Let's go ahead and get this on and popping. Ben Perkins, what's going on? We are glad to have you here on the show with Tony Crow and Steph. We just want to chop it up with you a little bit about Quentin Grimes. How you doing tonight?
I'm really good, man. It's good to be here. Good to be with you guys, man. I'm excited to kind of converse with you guys, have a good conversation.
Yeah, great. I guess, I really just wanted to start off and that you give us a little bit of background history about yourself and Perk Performance, and what you got going on there. And then, because I know that kind of relates into what Quentin Grimes and his background, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I've been doing, I started my company going on about 15 years now with doing training right after I stopped playing professionally myself. I've been fortunate enough. Currently, I'm also the national scout and camp director for John Lucas Enterprises. So we run our national camps and things that we do here year round. So just blessed to be fortunate enough to be able to work with a lot of the youth, a lot of players, a lot of different levels, just really teaching and instilling the game. When it comes to Quentin, he and I started his 7th grade year, so it's been a while, but it's been a fun journey because he's a rare kid. I tell people all the time, he's the first player in my 15 years that I had that I knew he would be successful from the beginning. He's one of the only kids, like I said, the first kid that would ever consistently call me to get into the gym day in and day out. Hey, coach, let's get in the gym. I want to get in the gym. Nowadays with these kids, a lot of them, you got to call them like, hey, man, where you been? I ain't seen you in a couple of days. I ain't seen you in a week. So he's always been addicted to the process, and all of these years, his hunger has really only just grown. So yeah, it's always fun when you have players like that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I know. I coach. I coach high school. I coach some travel ball, and I know I'm always proud when a player goes on to college and plays. I don't care what level it is. When they go on and they play and they're having success, I'm always proud. How does it feel to have a guy get to the NBA level and knowing that you've been working with him since the 7th grade?
I mean, for me, I'm just happy to be a small part of his journey. You know what I mean? Again, when you're with a kid and when you're with a family for that long, I call him all the time. He's my basketball son. His family, he has one of the best families I've ever come across. They're so supportive, but down to earth, committed just as much as he is. It's just, it honestly, it feels like it's, just a son that's making it and is in the process of accomplishing his dreams.
Yeah, that's great. Steph and Tony, anytime you have a question, feel free to just jump in there.
I'm gonna ask a
Yeah.
question for Tony.
Uh,
Do you think he could play the point guard position?
yeah, listen, if you know, I know you've been following the Knicks now. We've been without a point guard since forever. So any player that can dribble, the first question is, can they play point guard?
The thing about it is, the unique thing about Quentin is, coming up his whole youth, he was a combo guard. I mean, that was the position that he grew up playing. When he was a top 10 player in the country, he was playing the combo guard. As his journeys come along, people have gravitated more to his ability to shoot the ball. Mm-hmm. So, the type of kid and the type of person and the type of player that he is whatever is asked of him is what he's going to do. He's going to embrace it. He's going to accept it. And he's going to give you the best version of him at that role that he possibly can. So can he? He's capable of doing whatever the team has asked of him. And it's just about him, kind of understanding and accepting whatever it is that they're going to ask him to do.
Yeah. I was, I see that. He started off not getting much playing time, and then he quickly became in Tom Thibodeau's circle of trust, and that's a great thing to be in, because once you're in that circle of trust, you're not coming out. You know what I mean? It don't matter if it's your 30th year in the league, you're not coming out. Tom Thibodeau put you out there on the floor because he trusts you, and he quickly, I guess probably because of his defense, got into Tibbs' circle of trust. And then whatever it was, if he needed to start, if he needed to come off the bench, if he was playing 30 minutes or 3 minutes, he was ripping and ready to go, and coming into the league, I mean, you got to be that way. And I think coaches, players, everyone likes a guy that has that type of a mindset. And I think it's apparent that he does. And I think also just looking at, his transition in college, when he went through that stretch in college, how did he handle it? How was he feeling?
That's honestly going through that experience is when I knew for sure that he would be successful no matter what. I knew he would have success because a lot of people accept adversity and accept challenges. And they let it win. They let it take advantage of him. He embraced it. He just got in the gym, just committed himself to evolving into what was asked of him and what people wanted him to be. He embraced it. Coach Sampson and the staff did a really good job of challenging him and showing him what he could be as a defender, to complement what he was able to do as an offensive player. So between that defense and between the rebounding that the staff at University of Houston instilled in him, it just helped to bring his all-around game just to another level. And, it made it a perfect fit for what you guys in New York, are looking for. So
yeah, without a doubt.
So obviously, I think his role, at least on this team, has been 3-and-D guy. And I think he could have a 10, 12-year career just staying in that role of playing good defense and hitting that open shot. Is there an aspect of his game that maybe we haven't seen, whether it's because of the role he needs to be played here or just something that he just hasn't got to let out yet?
I think in spots this year, you guys got a chance to see some of the things that I think surprised a lot of people. But, knowing him for as much time as I've known him, people haven't valued as much as they should. I mean, the one thing that kind of always was in the backdrop with him as a player was his playmaking ability. People were always so enamored with his athleticism, with his ability to score, that they didn't really value his ability to make plays for his teammates, keep everybody involved. And the other thing would just be his IQ, and just his really understanding of the game, what's needed, what's expected, but also how to be most effective in that role. He studies the game just as much as he puts in on-court time. So, it's really just his all-around ability to be successful, as a player. And I think it kind of, the more he was able to get those opportunities during the year, you started to kind of see the old Quentin, kind of starting to come out. And, I think that's just the process of, it's an opportunity thing, and it's also what's asked of him, and embracing what's asked, whatever that role is. He's the kind of player that he's going to take on that role, and he's going to accept it and embrace it.
Yeah. During the offseason, just, kind of piggybacking off of what Tony's saying, are you working on, well, I guess I'll start with what's his day-to-day regimen like in preparing, for next season, getting himself in shape and to develop as a player?
I mean, the thing about it is Quentin he's addicted to the process. I mean, it's one of those things that you dream about as a trainer, to have those kind of players. But I mean, he doesn't believe in vacations. He doesn't believe in, he's addicted to the work. I mean, he had been up with the team, for, the past couple of months. They do a 2-week on to, a couple of days off process.
Oh, but they're doing that right now? They're doing that.
And perfect example, though, right now, as soon as he was able to leave New York, he flew out to Memphis and is training with Penny Hardaway now.
Mm-hmm.
He built a relationship up with him during the draft process. I tell him, and I encourage him all the time, I'm like, man, when you have an opportunity to get knowledge and input from a guy on that level, please,
right.
Everybody, people say stuff to me about, oh, he's training with other people. I'm like, listen, that's Penny Hardaway, man. Like, the experiences, the knowledge of the game that guy has, it's a blessing, and I'm excited for him that he's able to be there now and getting that work in with him.
Yeah. So the Knicks are doing it 2-on, 1-off now. They're in that process. So are they doing that the entire?
Well, it's a thing that with the younger guys.
The young
guys getting that work in, and the one thing I do like about the organization is they are committed to the development part. So they really challenge the young guys and put the time in to really try to work with them and help them, kind of to continue to develop their games.
That's good to know, because that's been something that, Knicks fans all the time, we look at other teams and we're like, look at this guy just came out of nowhere, and this guy, because this team, San Antonio, Golden State, they're developing, the Knicks aren't developing, but it's good to hear that we are really committed to that developmental process, because we got a lot of young players on the team.
Right.
It's a lot. When you're looking at third, second year rookie guys, it's a lot of them, and there's a lot of talent. It's a lot of talent too. So
yeah.
You made a point of saying, he does what is asked of him, or he adjusts to the role given to him. If the Knicks give him specifics on what to work on in the offseason, is that something that he brings to you and then you kind of add to your normal regimen? Or is that something that he would be working on separately, as a separate from your workout with him? Or how does something like that work?
Well, the way that we work is we sit down whenever he comes in, before, and we just talk about, like, okay, what are our areas of focus right now? Like, what are we focusing on? What do you want to do? And really the consensus, this offseason has been, just getting back to being Quentin Grimes, the Quentin Grimes from high school, the player that he's always been, and just getting back into that. playing with the ball in his hands more, getting comfortable with that, and just really getting back to him being, that player that he's always been, and just ready for, when the opportunities present itself, he's ready to just knock that door down and take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
Does Grimes have an in-between game? And what would you say about his ball handling? He's one of my favorite guys on the team. High floor guy. I wasn't quite sure, about how high a ceiling he has. And like
Right.
Tony, I figured he could be in this league for 10 years just for what he does right now in terms of defense and hitting the three. However, if he's to approach his ceiling, I would think that the ball handling and the in-between game would have to develop. Is that something that he already has, just as Tony said, didn't have the opportunity to show it, or is it something he needs to develop and get better at?
Oh yeah, when you go back and you ever get time and you go on YouTube and you look at those high school, highlights and stuff, he's always been a 3-level scorer. The athleticism, the explosion, the mid-range game that you're talking about, even finishing at the rim. The benefit that he has now is he's gotten a lot stronger. He's really developed into his body and gotten stronger. So really now is also, kind of focusing in on how do we equate that physicality that he has to his game and using that finishing around the rim, putting guys on his hip, creating space into the mid-range, allowing plays to develop using his strength. But it's something that he's always had. It's just, like we said, he accepts the role that's asked of him, and he embraces it. And what he's learned is the more that you accept and embrace the role that's given to you, the more opportunities that are going to come from that. So it's just being ready for when those opportunities come, that he's prepared. So the ball handling, again, he's always been one of the best ball handlers that I've worked with. But it's just the roles that he's had were just more, okay, catch and shoot, playing with it a little. Once he got to Houston, they allowed him to play with it a lot. If you look back to his last year, at Houston, they allowed him to do a lot of things with the ball. And it's just getting comfortable and understanding and accepting that, that's what they want him to do. He's ready to just get back to being who he's always been.
Well, I don't need to get too excited about. I don't know if I can get more excited about Grimes if you're telling me the ball handling and the mid range is already there, and it's just a matter of the role that he has. Wow.
Yeah, and I can see why Tom Thibodeau, really, we all could see it, but just hearing from you the work ethic, the being addicted to the process, and that's what Tom Thibodeau always talks about. Work hard and it'll come. Work hard and it'll come. And I know at the draft last year, the Knicks were doing all this trading down, and we're like, what? No, what are they doing? They're leaving people on the board. What's going on? But obviously, they were looking at Quentin Grimes and said, we want this guy to come in because of the work ethic and the standard that he's going to uphold, right? The culture that he's going to, help us continue to build, at MSG with the Knicks. You know what I mean? So I can see why, Tom Thibodeau, probably coveted him and wanted him there. What do you see in the NBA? I know this is a hard question, right? It's a really hard question. Just knowing what you know about his work ethic, the skills that he already has. Obviously, he would need the right opportunities to really show everything that he can do. But, what do you see his ceiling being? Or what level,
his ceiling is, I don't see a ceiling, honestly. And the reason that I say that is because of, one, he's so hungry to show the world who he is as a player. Not just, what's asked of him, but everything, the complete Quentin Grimes, what all that he's capable of doing. But like I said, he's one of the best qualities about him is that he's only going to do what's asked of him. He's not one of these players that are I'm going to do my thing no matter what. Y'all going to have to accept this or that. He's the kind of guy that, coach, you want me to lock up? You want me to get the best guy? You want me to knock down these shots? That's what I'm going to do. You ask me to make more plays? That's what I'm going to do. You tell me I need to rebound? That's what I'm going to do. And he's very, because of his IQ, he's very aware of not getting outside of what is asked of him, and doing it. So, I think it's just all about what's asked of him, and the ceiling. I believe, and of course I'm biased because he's like a son to me. I believe he's an all-star. I think it's just, I think he's capable of having, a bigger jump as allowed to him. It's just, it's an opportunity thing, and he's just hoping for that, the opportunity to be given.
Yeah.
I know you said that you feel that's his biggest strength as far as doing what is asked. But can that hinder him in a sense if he's capable of more? I'll give you an example. We talk about Emmanuel quickly, right? Mm-hmm. And his shot selection and some of those shots that he's taken. But he did it out the gate. You know what I mean? And then Tibbs had to adjust to him in a sense, and say, oh, you know what, this guy really can make those shots. He could really do that, and then kind of open the floor for him and allow him. But I think most of us fans would have thought that would have got him taken out of games. Tibbs would have sat him quickly. So again, do you think part of him maybe should go outside of what is asked if he has some of those abilities, or is it just a matter of it'll come in time?
I think there's multiple ways about attacking it, like you're saying, and I think for him, he's never gonna what he knows in his IQ of the situation is understanding that if I give you what you're asking of me, I know that you're going to give me more responsibility. I'm going to earn that responsibility by giving you what it is you're asking of me. And by me doing that, then I understand that you're going to allow me to do more because I'm giving you. So, it's a process of, if I give you what you're asking, then I know that my responsibility will grow in your eyes. So he's just kind of coming at it at his way of doing it. And I think that's a big, thanks to his support system. Everybody that's in his support system, from his parents to his manager Matt, is always challenging him to keep being the best that was asked of him. Embrace it. And his whole support system is honest with him. Whenever it was in the beginning of the season, he wasn't getting that much opportunity. His parents would be like, hey, make sure you're in there getting sprints after practice. Make sure you're getting it. Matt's there with him, constantly, keeping his head up, keep challenging him, keep motivating him, keep reminding him, and letting him know, look, when that door opens, you got to make sure that you're ready. And that's just the mentality that he has. That's the mentality that everyone around him has. And it made it an easy transition when the door opened.
Yeah.
And that's Tibbs' mentality as well.
Right. And I was going to piggyback off of that a little bit. I wanted to, kind of pick your brain on this a little bit. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about players coming into the league and fans automatically think this guy needs to play? You put him on the floor. That's the only way that they're going to learn. Or do you, or are you more of the mantra, this guy needs to earn his stripes to get out there on the floor? Right? Because, people would look at Grimes and say, well, we need to get rid of Burks, get rid of this guy so we can make room for him to play. Right?
I think it's understanding that every situation is unique and every situation is different, because when you're in a win now situation, you kind of have to you have to wait for that opportunity. If it was in a more developmental situation where you knew, our responsibility is developing the young kids, seeing which kids that we can count on for the long term, then it's going to be different. I feel like New York, at the time of the draft, was in a win now situation, making the push that you guys were able to make the year before. The mindset was, okay, let's get above this 4th seed. So it's understanding that coming in and knowing, all right, that opportunity might not be there right away, but you can create an opportunity by your preparation. And that's the approach that he took. That's the approach that he had every day coming in. And, he was able to take advantage of it. Of course, different situations, different teams, it may be from day one that you come in. But, the path, there's many different ways to get to the success.
Yeah.
It's just about, are you able to take advantage of your situation? And I feel like, the good thing about it is his mindset and approach is allowing him to have that opportunity right now.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. When you talk about his mindset, he talked about it, and you know him well, so you probably heard this as well, that when he got drafted by the Knicks, everybody was saying, wow, you're going to play for Tibbs? You he don't play rookies. And he had the mindset that he was going to make him play him, right? And Tibbs, and obviously the opportunity came when Rose went down, which is fine. Many players got opportunities when another player in front of them went down. You have to take advantage of it. But when they asked him about it, he was talking about it. He said he approached practice like it was a game.
And
that was the game for him, practice.
It was. And not just that, but after practice, before practice, he treated those situations like the game. And you guys, being from Houston, you would know Dylan and having the privilege of him being able to play for Coach Sampson and University of Houston. That transition to Tibbs for him, it's like, honestly, he was like, man, like, Tibbs is tough, but it's no 3-hour practices here. It's no, we can't put in the on-court time that I was putting in at University of Houston. So we knew that he would have success because University of Houston prepared him so well for Tibbs that it was, it was a easy transition to kind of fit into the mentality of Tibbs, because the culture that Sampson and the University of Houston kind of instills in their kids, it's listen, when you step on this floor, when you step between these lines, it doesn't matter if it's a workout, it doesn't matter if it's practice, it doesn't matter if it's outside of practice. You got to do everything in preparation for your opportunity. So it was, when we saw New York and knowing Tibbs, we knew it would be a great fit for him because, it's one of the closest situations that he could have had, to go from Sampson to Coach Tibbs.
Yeah. Wow. Do you think, kind of going back, because, we're really into kind of his mindset and how he approaches the game. Do you think coming from high school and going into college, you went to Kansas, do you think his mindset changed when he went to Houston? What do you think his mindset was like when he went from high school to Kansas? Because, we know at Kansas, maybe the fit just wasn't there, whatever it was, but the fit worked in Houston, right? And maybe it was the coaching style. Maybe he was used to a certain coaching style. But do you think there was a different mindset with him coming from high school to Kansas and then Kansas to Houston?
I think what happened was a natural maturation process. I think it really opened his eyes up into maturing. Like, he really grew up. The situation that he experienced in Kansas just helped him mature into who he has become now, because he embraced it. He didn't point fingers. He didn't blame. He didn't kind of turn. He said, okay, this is what it is. This is what I need to do. Let me get to it, and let me make these adjustments. Let me make this growth. So the biggest adjustment that happened from high school to Kansas, from Kansas to University of Houston, was him just maturing, like all of us. I wish I would have matured that much. Going from high school and dealing with obstacles, as quickly as he did. But again, I think that's a big thanks to his family, his parents, and the people that he keeps around him. It's like, okay, what are we going to do? How are you going to grow from this? What are you going to do? There's no pointing fingers. It's okay, moving forward, how do we grow? And I think that maturity is just what made his process, to getting here, that more impressive for me, watching.
Yeah. You think he has a little chip on his shoulder? Because I know, didn't one year he kind of went to the combine and maybe they said, you might not get drafted in the first round or whatever. So he said, okay, I'm gonna go back, work some more, and come back the next year. Do you think he has a little chip on his shoulder because of that?
The thing about Quentin is he doesn't need a reason to have that chip.
Okay, I like that.
Him being addicted to the process is because he plays this game because he loves it, and he plays this game. His mission is to show everyone who he is as a player and everything that he can do. Like, so what's driving him, that chip is I want to show the world who I am, like the full Quentin Grimes. So it's not really a situation. It's just his mentality of challenging himself. When you're dealing with a kid like him, you got to have your A game as a trainer. You can't give him, some cookie cutter process. He's going to tell you from the beginning, like, look, I need you to get after me. I need you to, he doesn't want easy. He doesn't want comfortable. Like, he wants you to show him, all right, that's the goal that you need to get to. We got to grind to get there. Like, he wants those challenges because that's just been his mentality, as since seventh grade, So it's just that process of, he creates those chips. He has that mentality.
Yeah. All right. Looking at the draft this year, the Knicks are looking at a lot of wing guys, right? A lot of wing players. Does he have any concern there? Like, man, I'm here. Of course, there's Burks, there's Fournier, you got Derrick Rose there, you got Cam Reddish. Does he have any concern, like, looking at another wing guy, or is it just, it doesn't matter? The cream is going to rise to the top.
Again, the thing about it is he's a confident person. Like, he's one of those ultra confident, ultra competitive people. So it's like, okay, they'll help the team. Like, he doesn't view it as a threat to him. Okay. He doesn't view it as a threat to him because he knows if I do what I'm capable of doing, I'm going to earn, everything that I need to earn. So for him, it looks like, okay, if we get another great player, that's just a compliment to what I'm doing, that we're going to make each other better. He doesn't, he doesn't view it as competition because he feels like, his best will get him everything that he feels he deserves and he knows he deserves.
All right.
I got a quick question and then a quick follow-up. How much, if any, did you follow the Knicks prior to Grimes' draft?
Prior to it, I followed, I followed it. I'm not going to say religiously like I have since he's been there, but, New York. I went to high school. I went to college in Rhode Island, Providence. I went to Providence. So,
okay.
A lot of my teammates, one of my closest teammates at the time, Jamel Thomas, Coney Island, So I've always been, well acquainted with New York. They allowed me to come to New York in the summers me being a small town Louisiana kid, you know, I got a chance to go to Coney Island in the summers, you know, when my freshman year, sophomore year, and so I learned the culture of New York. So I always paid attention because I respected the mentality, the New York mindset. So, you know, I wasn't religious about it, but I was always watching.
All right, I wasn't expecting that answer, so,
Yeah.
so I gotta say something about that. Which
Right.
how much was that? How much did you use that to kind of inform Grimes on the culture of New York, the city of New York, and things of that nature? And then what I wanted to ask you was that viral video that went out, because I know Grimes seen it because there was a video of him reacting to it, with the Knicks fan, grind time, play my guy, that type thing.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you saw that?
Well,
and then just the Knicks fans in general.
Well, I didn't I didn't have to tell him anything. I mean, he knew, you know, he was like, you know, we all looked at each other, you know, at the draft party and was like, it couldn't have been more perfect. Like, this can't be perfect, you know, more perfect for the way that he plays, the way that he approaches the game. You know, the coach and the mindset and what's expected. It really, I didn't need to. He already knew. He already was prepared, and it was easy. And when it came to the fans, I mean, you know, he was just grateful. I mean, he's such a, you know, he's a really good kid and a really, really, really confident but humble kid. So the fact that, you know, everyone already kind of embraced him from the beginning, it just made him want to work more to show them that he can be a player that the city loves, you know, the organization loves, and everyone can embrace because, you know, just being appreciative of the love.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of the Knicks, well, you know, we're talking about Grimes. Of course, we're talking about the Knicks. But what are you looking at the Knicks right now? 37, you know, what were they? 41-31 a season ago. 37-45 last season. What do you think this team needs to do to jump ahead, right? They had some injuries this year. Maybe it played a part in them being 37-45. There were, you know, some other things going on with players. What do you think they need to do to take a leap forward?
I think it's a lot of it was there coming into the year. There were a lot of new pieces that were expected to fill major roles, you know, and it was an adjustment process. And during that adjustment process, everything didn't flow as well as, you know, I mean, I'm sure the organization had expected. So really it just comes down to, for them to take that next step is everyone embracing what's expected of them. I think the biggest thing is getting back to that defensive mentality that they had the year before, you know what I mean? And embracing it as a unit, getting to it. I know, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of changes. I mean, I don't know, but you know, you hear a lot of, you know, I follow all you guys, so you know, there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of, you know, different changing and opportunities and stuff that's going on. You don't know what's going to happen, but you just hope that everyone that's coming in is going to really embrace that defensive mentality. And then when it comes to offensive, it's getting that chemistry with each other. Because it was so many new pieces that had major roles, I think the chemistry didn't flow as well as they may have expected. So you would hope another year in, having an offseason, you know, having another training camp, they kind of start to get a rhythm and a feel offensively. Even the coaching staff now fully understanding all of the pieces and how they coexist. How does it all work together to have success and be able to maximize, you know, everyone on the team's strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah. I'm certainly hoping that they can make it come back this year, because if not, boy, it's gonna be something in New York.
Well, the one thing, y'all, we know y'all, you know, as a fan base, y'all are gonna hold them accountable. And
No doubt.
I mean, I love it because I think it's what every player, real player, should want. You should want to have a fan base behind you that's they're gonna hold you up when you're there, but then they also gonna hold you to that standard, when it ain't going, because that should motivate you to like, okay, I got to do what I need to do to get on track.
Right. Right.
There's nothing better than honesty, man. If you're really open and committed to growth, honesty is the best tool for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
You guys are gonna get honesty. You like it or not, it's gonna be honest. It's gonna be real.
Right.
So you got to be ready to receive it.
Yeah. Throughout the season, well, last year was his first season. So did you talk throughout the season maybe about, just maybe something, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you two, just kind of had that still, trainer, player,
right,
mentor role?
It's a mentor role. I send him a quick message before every game. It's just kind of the thing that we do. But more for me, I'm just a resource. I randomly always remind him, hey, listen, I'm here if you need to bounce something off. I don't, in a 82 game season, there's a lot of different voices that comes to a pro player. And I'm not the kind of person that's going to be throwing out, you need to do this, I'm a resource. If you need something from me, if you want, I'm always here. We can talk through it. We can do a Zoom and look at film together. If it's just something you need to vent, you can vent. If you need eyes, I can be eyes. It's just a resource. But it's, it's just kind of just always letting him know that I'm there and I'm here to help him, however he feels he needs it.
Yeah, that's great because, like I said, I coach high school travel ball, and you get a lot of parents and trainers, who I coached this one player, and, she was in development, 6'4". She's 6'4", right? And, her trainer was like, she'd have 3 people surrounding her, get triple team before the ball, she even has the ball, and the trainer is still like, throw the ball anyway, throw it anyway. She had problems catching hot passes, and so like things like that can really trouble an athlete, So it was great to hear that. I know my daughter plays, and I would sit way up at the top of the stands because I didn't want to yell out things, because I coached her, so she's going to hear my voice, and she knows my voice. I'm like, let me just sit way up here because I don't know really I don't know everything that the coach is asking her to do. So if I start barking out instructions, I might be going opposite of what the coach wants.
Well, I'm going in line with what you're saying. Part of what's helped me a lot is because in my beginning process, I did coach. That seventh grade, I was his AAU coach. So I coached, AAU, and I've been on that side. What I learned is it's important to be able to embrace and accept your role. And my role as his trainer is a resource. Like you said, I have a son that's going and playing basketball at West Point this year. My daughter is a sophomore, and she's highly touted, player also.
Congrats.
I know the process. I'm a parent. People don't even know who my kid is when I'm in the stands because I've dealt with that other side as a coach and as an organization, and I know what it's like when you have those kids that are constantly looking in the stands, listening to all these other voices and doing those things. It can be really counterproductive to what a coach or what an organization is trying to do. And that's one thing that I'll never do is I never want to be counterproductive to any process. So it's just simply being a resource, and sitting back and just being there whenever I'm called upon,
Yeah. That's the way to do it. And that's great to hear that he has that resource that he can just call up and say, hey, I need some advice on this, or what do you think about that? My shot's not going well. What are you seeing?
Right. And a big benefit of that too is his understanding. Both of his parents played, played at a high level. His mom played at Kansas. His dad played at Santa Clara, played pro. So again, his whole circle is giving him, that it's not the fanboy approach, but they're giving him actual input and information and being down to earth and being honest. If he's not doing what he needs to do, he's going to know about it. If he's doing what he needs to do, he's going to give positive. He's going to be getting positive feedback, but also still being challenged. Yeah, you're doing good, but I think you can do more. Like, you had a good game, but you saw that fourth quarter. Your legs look a little tired on there. Maybe we need to get some more conditioning. It's always that challenge of uplifting. So he has, his circle is a big part of, what helps him to continue to grow.
Yeah, that's what's up. Tony, it looked like you were getting ready to jump
No,
in.
he actually answered exactly what I was gonna ask. I'm drawing a blank right now anyway. So
I have a question.
Go ahead, Steph.
If it came to it, do you think Grimes would be ready to start at shooting guard for the New York Knicks next season and be productive and effective? Or do you feel like he has a few more years before that?
Yes, he's ready. He's ready. If it's called upon, he's ready for it.
Whatever's asked of him.
Honestly, is no doubt in my mind. Because because of his preparation, and it's only gonna increase the closer, he gets to the season. But also just, that desire, the desire that he has to show everybody that he's, ready. And I think everyone knows, the two things that he's going to bring that are always going to have value, and that's his versatility as a defender and his consistency when it comes to that, but then also his shooting. And then I think the more that people get to see those aspects of him making plays with the ball in his hands, him getting his teammates involved, being able to facilitate when it's asked of him, there's no question that, if it's asked of him, he's ready.
Yeah. All right. That's good because, looking at what the Knicks could do anything this summer, to try to improve the team. And I, for one, think that if teams are asking for Quentin Grimes, that's going to be a hard get because I think Tom Thibodeau really, really is in love with Quentin Grimes, as a player, work ethic and everything. And I'm glad for that, because, I like what he brings to the table as well. When you look at has he developed any close friendships so far with players on the team? And think, anybody he's really close with?
Understanding that, when he played USA basketball, he was RJ. Him and RJ were teammates. Him and he knows quickly back from those days from the All-American circuits. He knows Cam coming back. Him and Cam played together with RJ when it comes to all of the All-American, McDonald's All-American, the Jordan brand, USA basketball. So, I mean, he's had a close relationship with a lot of those young guys just because, the way that the summer process is now, a lot of these guys either play together or play against each other, so much of the summer. So he has a close relationship and history with a lot of those guys.
Yeah, that's good. Will he be playing in the summer league this year in Vegas?
If I'm expecting, I know normally those second year players do play. So I know he's preparing and wanting to embrace that challenge to just because again, the way that he looks at it is just another opportunity to show everyone, what I can do and who I am and, everything that I can bring to the game.
I'm trying to get out there too.
Yeah. He was fortunate enough to be able to show that in the combine, and that's what kind of raised a lot of eyebrows when he was able to play with the ball in his hands and do it. When it happened in summer league, he was able to show it. So it's just, anytime he's able to show you everything that he's capable of doing, he gets excited about that opportunity.
I tell you what, that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to. If he could participate in that summer league, basing it off of Obi and quickly year 2 summer league, and then giving that responsibility and told, hey, you're a leader now. We need you to lead these rookies coming in.
Yeah.
And I think, number one, I don't know what that might do for him as far as like confidence wise and just maybe being to show some of those things that he's been limited to access to on the Knicks. Now he may get a bigger role in this one situation. And who knows, maybe it even opens the coaching staff's eyes as to what they want from him moving forward. Right. So good opportunity for him.
Because he'd be there with McBride. He'd be there with, obviously himself, Jericho Sims, and then you'd have whoever the incoming draftees are. Right. So yeah, he'd be, him, McBride would be the primary ball handlers for the most part, depending on who they drafted. You know what I mean? So yeah, that would be a great opportunity for him, and I hope I can get out there. I'm trying to get out there, man. I'm trying to get out there.
I mean, that's a fun time, man, and again, for him, he embraces all of those opportunities. He just wants to show everybody who he is and who he can be and who he's gonna be. So. I know he gets excited about it because he's just one of those old school guys that he just wants to play. So I know he's looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
Right. I have one last question. I know it's time difference with you is a little bit it's a little bit earlier in the evening. Yeah. It's getting late here, but do you go into this season, or are you going into this season with any kind of expectations? And I don't mean expectations as far as points per game, rebounds, assists, etc., but just some things that he wants to accomplish with his game during the season. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. His biggest thing is just coming in there and just showing that consistent work, that's expected. I think that's the biggest thing. When it comes to stats, I think stats are going to kind of depend on, the way that things are flowing. But I think that consistency defensively, showing that he can be a main, go-to, a main contributor when it comes to, all right, we need to lock this guy down. Who's one of the first people that we call? I know him. I know he's in there raising his hand. I got him, coach. I got that. I want that challenge. I want that. So the one thing that I think is I would be excited to see, can he, get that opportunity to show that all defensive mentality that he can be and that he can bring to the team. And then adding on to that with, the offensive role, based on what are they asking or what are they doing, but kind of bringing all of those elements together and showing, who he is. So I'm excited for it. Like, I wish it would be starting tomorrow, just because I know his approach to the work. I know his approach to the process, and I know he's ready just for the, whatever that opportunity is, to kind of take that on full steam.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward, to the season, watching them develop. I know the fans are. Everybody, really likes Quentin Grimes and the potential and what, people think he can grow to, with this team here. So I'm really looking forward to it. And, Ben, I really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us.
Absolutely.
It's great to just be able to get, just some, just learn about, the players' mentality, get some, inside, thoughts on, how they feel, their training, and, how they're coming into the season prepared. So we really do thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Like I said, I'll follow you guys all through the season, keeping up and, I'm glad to be able to kind of get on with you guys and just kind of talk about the game, talk about Quentin, talk about the Knicks. Like I said, I'm in here rooting just like you guys are now, trying to
Right.
trying to get them where we want them to be. So
Yeah. Do you have? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you have any other prospects that you think might be able to make it to the league one day?
It's a couple of guys that I've been fortunate enough to work with that I'm excited about. Some younger kids. Some kids in college now. I don't want to kind of put them on.
Yeah,
I don't want to put that pressure on them right now. But
Right.
there's a few guys that I'm excited to see if they get that opportunity. And kind of get that approach. How it's going to go. So, it's just kind of getting everybody to understand now. Look at the process that Quentin has followed. Are you that committed? Because if you are, then we have something. If you're not, you got to be able to accept that and understand it. And, that's the standard. So it's like Quentin has given me the ability to look at these guys and show them and be like, hey, listen, if you're serious about this, are you this serious?
Right.
Because if I'm calling you, asking you where you're at, what you're doing, why I haven't seen you, now I'm, all I can do is hope that you're getting to work somewhere else.
Right.
So.
And Ben, I was actually just gonna say a lot of that of what you just said, and ask you, how do you separate somebody you're working with now from the expectation of what you witnessed and what you've seen with Grimes, especially for so long. And then I was gonna ask you, I'm sure it's a easy part of it where you have somebody that you could tell them to look at and say, look, we worked through this, we got through this. He wasn't too good here, but he improved here, and this is how he did it. So I get how it can help you with some of these young guys, but how might it be maybe a negative in where now you have a ceiling of where you if you see somebody, you be like, he ain't as good as Grimes was. You know what I mean?
What you learn is everybody's process is different. Their time and their maturation is different. But there are a few key things that give you an idea of the potential. How hard does he work whenever he or she is in the gym? How focused are they? How much do they pay attention to the details? How consistent are they? Those things give you the ability to make a projection. Now, some may click in the first couple of months that you work with them. Others, it may be a year or two down the road where all of a sudden it all clicks. So it's just about now. Like, I have that full confidence to know, I know the intangibles that I'm looking for. Like, how committed are you to your growth? Are you relying just on your talent, your God-given, or are you committed to putting in that grind? That grind is what, how committed you are to that grind is what tells you a lot about them. How detailed are you? How do you handle adversity? Those things, that gives you a lot of the information that you need. So it's not really a negative, because I don't look at a kid that has those things and say, you're going to get to Quentin Grimes. Because, one of the funniest things, when I was in 7th grade, I had the organization director come to me and he said, he's like, what do you think about this Quentin kid? He's like, what do you think he can be? I told him, I'm like, I like him, I think he has a chance to be a top 50 player in the country. That was me projecting. I didn't foresee him growing to be 6'5" and being as athletic that he ended up growing to being a top 10 kid in the country. But you can project an idea, but you never know what impact God is going to play into this, with him growing into his full potential and growing into his body, his development, his process. getting the mental switch clicking. You can't fully prepare for that, but you can get an idea. So, it makes it easy because I know the certain things to look for,
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well,
All right.
Ben, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We would love to have you come back, maybe, sometime during the season as, things are going on and talk a little Knicks.
Definitely. My pleasure. I'm always just a phone call away, I'm always here. Love to do it.
All right. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
And any last comments from Steph or Tony?
Just thank you for your time and validating, what I thought about Grimes. Yeah.
My pleasure.
And I agree. Definitely. Thank you for joining us. This is an eventful night, and I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about after this podcast as well. And yeah, I hope we get a chance to talk to you again.
Yeah,
Appreciate
definitely.
you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Is there anything that you want to, just say to the people, or I'm gonna put your Twitter information to you as well as to Perk Performance in the description of the video, so that people can, go check you out online or follow you on Twitter. Anything else that you want to say?
Not much I want to say, man. Just thank you guys for having me. Thank y'all for the opportunity. I'm glad, and I know we appreciate how much you guys have embraced Quentin. Not just the basketball player, but the person that he is. And the plan is hopefully for years and years to come, he continues to make y'all proud and make the organization, make the city proud, and we continue to grow together.
Hey, let's get it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
sure.
Let's do it.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Have a good evening. And make sure you get those tickets to the MBK draft party. The link is in the description. Go check out Perk Performance. You can check that link in the description of the video as well. And we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Peace. Spread love as usual.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.